Nikki Yadav was born in Haryana in the year 2000. Her father, Sunil Yadav, ran a motor repair shop in Gurugram. He had 3 children, and Nikki was the eldest grandchild. She completed her 12th grade in Haryana. Nikki wanted to become a doctor, so after clearing her board exams in 2018, she moved to Uttam Nagar, West Delhi, to prepare for NET at the Akash Institute. She also bought a camera after moving to Delhi. Nikki was very focused on her studies and hardly met anyone socially. Her routine was simple, from home to coaching and back. For commuting, she used public transport, mostly buses. It was on one of these bus rides that she met Sahil Gehlot. Sahil Gehlot was born on March 17, 1997, in Najafgarh, Delhi. He was 3 years older than Nikki. Sahil came from a well-to-do family. His father, Virender Singh, was an important figure, and you'll soon learn why. Sahil's family was wealthy and owned 2 businesses. They even had a plot of land and a roadside eatery, Cow Payo Dhaba, registered under Sahil's name in Najafgarh. Like Nikki, Sahil also moved to Uttam Nagar in 2018, but to prepare for the SSC exams. Coincidentally, he too used the same bus that Nikki traveled on. Over time, the 2 began noticing each other daily. Eventually, they started talking, became friends, and soon their friendship turned into love. They would go to coaching classes together every day, talk endlessly, and by 2018, they had grown very close. Both had exams scheduled for 2019, but unfortunately, Nikki couldn't clear NET and Sahil failed his SSC exam as well. Unlike many other students, they didn't panic. Instead, they thought about the future calmly. The 2 decided to move in together. Nikki joined college for English honors, giving up her dream of becoming a doctor. Sahil, too, left his SSC preparation and opted for a graduation degree. They started living together. But apart from a few close friends, nobody knew about their relationship. They didn't post about it on social media either, as Nikki's siblings were active online and she didn't want them to find out. It said that from 2019 until early 2020, they lived together. But then, when COVID hit and lockdown began, Nikki's father got worried and called her back home. Nikki obeyed her father, but before leaving, she made Sahil promise that he would call and text her every day because they were meant to spend their whole lives together. Sahil promised, and both returned to their respective homes. During the pandemic, they kept their love alive through daily calls, video chats, text. They also attended online classes together. By late 2020, when some travel restrictions eased, Nikki told her family she had exams and went to Delhi to meet Sahil. Sahil, too, made an excuse at home and sneaked out. That reunion made them realize they truly wanted to be together forever and even get married someday. When colleges reopened fully later in 2020, Nikki returned to Uttam Nagar and rented a place again. Sahil, by this time, had completed his 2-year B.Pharm course and was living back at his home in Najafgarh. Despite the distance, Sahil made sure to visit Nikki in Delhi every month. Up until this point, everything seemed fine. A boy and a girl in love, living together, knowing each other's habits, and generally, both were hard-working. It wasn't as if they were wasting time in love and neglecting studies. No, they were both serious students. The only problem was that neither of their families knew about the relationship or the fact that they were living together. Nikki couldn't tell her parents. Coming from a middle-class family, if she had even accidentally admitted she had a boyfriend, and on top of that she was living with him, her parents would have felt deeply dishonored. They would have said, "You've shamed us. This is not why we sent you there." Sahil also couldn't tell his family. First of all, his was a sort of joint family, not living under the same roof, but still closely connected. In such families, even a whisper could ruin their reputation. Secondly, the village environment he came from wasn't accepting of love relationships. Such things only led to scandal. And Sahil came from a highly respected family. He couldn't risk tainting his father Virender Singh's name. But the biggest reason Sahil kept the secret was fear. He was terrified of his father. He obeyed everything Virender Singh said without question, and out of fear, he confessed everything to him. But not this. Living together before marriage was a massive step, something he could never admit. So both families remained clueless. Then came the pressure. In late 2020, Sahil's family told him, "You're grown up now. It's time you get married and take responsibility for our family business." His father announced that Sahil would marry soon. The whole family was thrilled, and seeing them so happy, Sahil didn't dare refuse. Without wasting any time, his father found him a suitable girl. This was where the pressure began to mount. You'll remember I said earlier that after graduation, Sahil and Nikki lived separately but met regularly. After the marriage talk started, those meetings became fewer. Their conversations also reduced. Nikki sensed something was wrong, though she didn't confront him at first. Whenever she did meet Sahil, she pretended everything was normal. But soon, Sahil's engagement was fixed. The wedding was scheduled for February 10th. As the months passed, the day drew near. On February 9th, Nikki somehow learned that Sahil was getting married the very next day. Furious and heartbroken, she called him. She confronted him. "How could you do this to me? I'm your girlfriend. What about all the promises we made?" She threatened him. "You need to meet me today or I'll do something drastic." With his wedding the very next day, Sahil had no choice. He went to meet Nikki in Delhi. He asked her to come down from her home, and she got into his car. They drove off into the night. In the car, Nikki lashed out. "You hid something this big for me? You kept me in the dark? You're engaged and getting married tomorrow. What am I supposed to do now?" Sahil tried to explain. "You don't understand. My family will never accept this. They won't listen to me. Please understand me." Between midnight and 1 a.m., their car stopped near Delhi's Kashmiri Gate ISBT. There, Nikki gave him an ultimatum. "Tomorrow, run away with me. Your wedding hasn't happened yet. We can still be together." Sahil replied, "That's not possible. My family's honor will be ruined. Both sides will face humiliation." Hearing this, Nikki snapped. "Either you marry me, or tomorrow I'll come to your wedding and expose everything. I'll reveal all your secrets in front of everyone." We don't know exactly what those secrets were, but her words ignited Sahil's rage. In a fit of anger, Sahil grabbed a phone charging cable lying near the music player of the car. In a sudden, uncontrollable impulse, he wrapped it around Nikki's neck. The thin wire cut off her breath, and within moments, Nikki was gone. When Sahil's anger subsided, reality hit him. He had just killed the girl he loved the most. And this, on the very day of his wedding. Panic-stricken, Sahil sat in the car with Nikki's lifeless body, driving aimlessly. He didn't know what to do. First, he thought of dumping her body in a forest. Then he realized the police would eventually find it. Next, he considered throwing it into a river, but that too seemed risky. Then he remembered he had a roadside eatery, Kalpayo Dhaba, where nobody would be that day. All the workers had been sent home to help with wedding preparations. So Sahil drove back to Najfagad. He parked the car outside the dhaba. Inside, there was a large blue refrigerator. According to some reports, Nikki's body didn't fit inside completely. To make it fit, Sahil allegedly cut the body into 2 pieces before placing it in the fridge. After that, he calmly returned home, where his wedding rituals were waiting. On February 10th, Sahil got married. Then came February 11th. Nikki had a habit of calling her family almost every single day. So, when she didn't pick up the phone the previous night, her father grew worried. The next day, too, there was no call. Concerned, he rang one of Nikki's friends, who told him, "Uncle, Nikita has gone to Missouri for a trip. That's probably why she's not calling." Even then, her father, Sunil Yadav, couldn't shake off the fear. His granddaughter, who never missed a call, had now been silent for 2 days. Still, he waited, holding on to hope that Nikki would call. Then came February 12th, 13th, 14th, days passed, yet no sign of Nikki. She was missing. The family could have filed a missing persons report, but Sunil Yadav kept waiting. Waiting not because they weren't worried, but because he was hoping against hope. And then came a tip at the local police station. Someone reported that a boy named Sahil had killed a girl, and after murder, had hidden her body in a daba in Nujfagud. The police first tried to call Sahil. He didn't answer. They thought it might be a prank or a baseless rumor. Still, they decided to check the daba. At first glance, they didn't see much. But when they opened a large blue refrigerator, they froze in shock. Inside lay the body of Nikki Yadav. It was now certain Sahil was a killer. They didn't yet know the why or the how. But one thing was clear. Sahil had murdered Nikki. At that point, the police didn't even know Nikki and Sahil's true relationship. They had no clue about their background. So, DCP Satish Kumar formed a special team and ordered them to bring Sahil in. But when police reached his house, it was empty. Not a single family member was there. Authorities suspected Sahil was on the run. The search intensified. The next day, they discovered Sahil had gone with his family to a nearby village for a religious ceremony. And finally, on February 15th, 2023, Sahil was arrested. That evening, Sahil gave the police a seemingly convincing story. He said he and Nikki were in love, but when his marriage got fixed, Nikki confronted him. In anger, he killed her, claiming it was a crime of passion, committed alone in the heat of the moment. Had this been true, Sahil might have gotten a lighter sentence. But that wasn't the whole truth. Because Nikki wasn't just his girlfriend. She was his wife. Police only discovered this when they searched Nikki's room. Among her belongings, they found a photograph. It showed that after 2 years of living together, Nikki Yadav and Sahil Gehlot had secretly married on October 1st, 2020, at an Arya Samaj temple in Greater Noida. The priest there confirmed the marriage. So, Nikki hadn't confronted Sahil as a girlfriend. She had confronted him as a wife. And Sahil had murdered his own wife. What Sahil had initially told police was far from the truth. On February 9th, 2023, when Nikki discovered his wedding plans, she called him over. Sahil arrived at her apartment around 11 p.m. The two stayed there until 3 a.m. on February 10th. According to Sahil, he promised Nikki they would run away and marry again in secret, either in Goa or Himachal. Nikki even packed her clothes, telling a friend, "If anyone calls from home, just tell them I've gone to Mussoorie or Dehradun. I'll call once I'm back." This was a calculated lie, meant only to stop her family from filing a missing persons report. But their plan unraveled. A fight broke out during the journey. Sahil later admitted he strangled Nikki near Kashmiri Gate, ISBT. Afterwards, he strapped her upright in the passenger seat, buckling her seatbelt so from outside it looked like she was just sitting quietly. His car had tinted windows, so no one could see inside. With Nikki's lifeless body beside him, Sahil drove aimlessly around Delhi, panicking over what to do. Finally, he called his father and confessed everything. His father advised him to take Nikki's body to the daba. There, with the help of a few friends, Sahil moved her from the car and placed her inside the blue refrigerator. And then, he went ahead with his wedding. On the very day he killed Nikki, Sahil got married. When Nikki's family kept calling on February 12th, Sahil repeated the same story Nikki had told her friend. "She's gone to Mussoorie. Don't worry." But what Sahil didn't realize was that neighbors and friends had already seen him enter Nikki's building the night she disappeared. That anonymous tip to the police most likely came from them. Later, in interviews, Nikki's father revealed that Sahil himself, out of guilt, told them, "Yes, I killed her. Please forgive me." During questioning, Sahil admitted, "I made the biggest mistake of my life. No one loved me more than Nikki did." This case bore chilling similarities to the Aftab Shraddha murder. But unlike that case, here the families were completely in the dark. They had no idea what their children were hiding. Perhaps if Sahil had shown some courage, or if the families had known earlier, Nikki might still be alive. As of now, the case is still ongoing in court. And that brings us to the end of Nikki Yadav's story.